Hello and welcome to the Crow's Nest. My name is Brandon Kane. Here just to watch a little bit of the end of the game here between our Seattle Mariners and Cleveland Guardians as we find ourselves here right now in the top of the sixth inning. A little base hit here by the Guardians, but it has been a fun game to watch. Another masterful gem being thrown here by Juan Luis Castillo as he just passes 100 pitches here. But it has been a good game, well-fought game between these two teams. Of course, the Mariners have taken the first two games of this series, so it would be nice to steal another one here tonight. It has not been a lot of offense. It's been 3 home runs up until this point. That's been the generator for all the runs. One for Cleveland and the 2 for Seattle being Eugenio Suarez and Julio, the newly minted Julio Rodriguez. So we've got the one out here, runner on first. Castillo still pumping 97 on the zone right now with that fastball. So he doesn't look like he's lost anything as he's passed 100 pitches. Cleveland Guardians have pitched very well against the Seattle Mariners team in this series. It's been a very even matchup, even though the Mariners have taken both. Strike. Another fastball. He went from the outside part of the plate back inside. 0-2. What's up, Megan? How you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Figured I'd watch a little bit of this end of this game action. I couldn't get the whole game done. I was busy doing too much work, but that's fouled off. Guardians have done an awesome job this game of fouling and fighting off tough pitches from Castillo. They have not died easily in their bats, and a lot of very good two-strike type of swings where they seem to have had an approach coming into this game that they were going to get into Castillo and work him and get him to use a lot of his pitches. Luckily, Castillo's just been so good today that that's not been able to make a difference. Megan says I was about to go and play Madden 23, which I spent 7 hours playing last night. B, are you liking it, Megan? Okay. I've heard mixed opinion. Some folks out there are really loving it. Others are just kind of meh with it. Others, of course, are just kind of poo-pooing it, completely. So I've had some. I've been watching some clips. It's been a couple of years for me, Megan, since I bought the game, just because the earlier iterations were so much better. Now it's really simulations, and you can't play franchise mode as much. But there are some fun aspects to still what you can do in that game. And just wish they did a little bit better. Gosh, it could do so much better. It could be so much more. All right, 1-2 here. Once again, Jimenez for the Guardians doing a good job of fouling pitches off and staying alive. 2-2. Fastball up and inside there. Nitro Hawk, what's up? Maxwell, hey. Megan said, so tired, spent way too much time last night trying to get my head around the new controls on Madden and then got up for church. That's the thing about video games. I can contend does the same thing to me, Megan. I get sucked in, and I swear I blink. Ooh, he comes back with another 98-mile-an-hour fastball and just swung right through it. It's so hard to hit with all the movement. He's a power pitcher with movement, and usually you just don't get those two components going together like that. Jimenez lost his helmet trying to swing at that. Castillo's gotten in trouble tonight, or any close to trouble. He's always been able to come back and get a K. 2 outs now, runner on first. I may end up picking up Megan just to check out and see. Swing and a miss. He's just fastball after fastball right now. That one on the outside part of the plate, well located, low. Used to be back in the day, if you had a fastball at 97, 98 coming at you, it was going to come relatively straight. It wasn't going to have this winding movement to it. 0-1, slider, swings through that. 0-2. Castillo's just nasty tonight. He's looked great since being every game since being in a Mariner uniform, but he's very close to maybe at his best in this particular game tonight. 0-2. 2 outs. Runner on first. Mariners up 2-1. Top of the 6th. Castillo with 10 strikeouts tonight. Love that pitch location. Puts it 98 up and away out of the zone. Trying to see if he can get the hitter to bite. These teams, of course, went into extra innings last night. Mariners were able to pull through. 1-2. Runner gets his lead from first. He's no threat to run, though. Down in the dirt with the slider. He dirted it. Danny W., did I see Ichiro's acceptance speech? Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to check it out yet, Daniel. I was just busy like hell trying to get through some work today, so I had a little overflow left over from the week I had to go and touch on. But I will go look it up here on YouTube for sure. 2-2 here. Knocked foul. Castillo now up to 114 pitches on the game. This will no doubt be his last inning, but it would be a nice boon to this bullpen to get through 6, considering how much they had to work last night with the extra innings. Castillo digs in. Tell you what, Gonzalez is really far off the plate. And indeed, they're going to go to the outside part of the plate there. Yeah. I think you notice that as you watch Gonzalez set up in the batter's box, he was really far off the plate. And as a pitcher, I'd always have my catcher and let him know, you see the batter do that, we're attacking the outside part of the plate. We're going to test his ability if he's going to try to truly step to the ball, or if he's just got that much play coverage with the bat to reach the ball. Yeah, let's attack out there. Let's make him think he's got to cover a real wide range, which he does at that point if he's going to kind of cheat in that direction of things. Megan says, I don't mind it. Got rid of Myers and now have Rodrigo Blankenship from the Colts as my new Seahawks kicker. 3 from 3 in the preseason, if only, laughing out loud. He was good the other night, Megan. You know, he was putting it through the other night. Was Myers, but I can't deny that might be a move I'd probably be making pretty quickly too after taking over the franchise on that one. Go Hawks 05. Football season is upon us. College football this weekend, high school football next, and in the NFL the next. Oh, I know. Go Hawks. I know. I'm excited. I've been thinking about it. I think on Saturday I'm going to be, if you're not get subbed up to my Seahawks scouting channel, because I think I'm going to be over on that one streaming one of the college football games, or live streaming during one of the college football games, watching one of these quarterbacks play, watching one of these young men sling the rock. Go Hawks, making my first varsity start against the state champs this Friday. Best of luck to you. Go out there and kill it. Just relax. Confidence, you know what I mean? You got this. Confidence is the key when you're out there with athletics, right? Whether you got things rolling or not. Get yourself in that mode of feeling like things are rolling. Daniel W., will I make a video on the J-Rod contract? That is the very next thing after this game tonight that I'm going to do, Daniel. So I wanted to live stream the last of the game, but I got some of the Jeff Passan Twitter quotes on the breakdown of the deal that I wanted to have put up for when I'm talking about it, and I've got exactly what I want to say in regards to it. But yes, I should have hopefully that out, I'm thinking tomorrow, if I can crank it out tonight. It's not going to be a tremendously long video. It's not going to be really a flashy video, but it's going to be getting to some of the heart of the interesting aspects of this Julio Rodriguez deal. Chronos 109. Hey, Brando. What's up, Chronos? That was an emotional ceremony for me. I was an M's fan when I was a child, and it was only this year where I found my love for baseball again. Understandable completely on all accounts in regards to that. And we are now to the bottom of the 6th here. Kurt Casale up at the plate and swings through looks like a slider there for a strike 1. I completely get I'm an older generation, so I go back when I came into my indoctrination into Mariner baseball. But, coming into it with a guy like Ichiro, who is one of the most, if not the most unique baseball players the Major League Baseball has seen in its history. Nobody has quite been put together like him as a player and the way that he went about what he did. And another swing and a miss there for Castillo. He's got a 1-2 count here. Plesac only at 68 pitches here through 6 innings. He has been really dealing. Just had a couple of home runs given up to the Mariners, and that's the Mariners game, right? Like they will hit some home runs. I think they were saying in this telecast, Mariners had 145 home runs on the season this year. The Guardians only have 99. Just to show you the disparity between the two. Sally doing a good job of working this count, getting it to 2-2. Plesac chewing that gum, trying to get Castillo to bite. The umpire in this game has had quite a wide zone, and it seemingly has widened the longer we've gotten into this game. Plesac definitely was hoping the ump was going to continue to give him the pitch 2-3 inches off the plate. This is part of why Ty France has been injected in this game. Sally gets a good ride on that ball, but he just has got what they call warning track power. Pitch would be right where he'd want to do something with it, but just doesn't have the ability to drive the ball far enough to make it to make the pitcher pay for that ball location. 1 out. One down. But Ichiro was awesome. His ability to fight pitches off and get hits on pitches that he had no business getting hits on, his flair for the dramatics, and especially when it came to the long ball, there was almost a mythical quality behind Ichiro throughout his career about how much power he might have truly had, just whether or not he was foregoing that power for other aspects of his game. Julio steps up and takes the first pitch, 92-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner and low. It's a good pitch there by Plesac. Good eye by Julio there. It was oftentimes first pitch swinging. Wasn't going to do anything with that pitch. Oof, 94 right in on the hands. Julio swings right through it. He was trying to get home run number 2 right there. That ball was a good 2 inches inside. Quickly 0-2 here to Julio. Plesac really overthrows that slider. Grounds it. Just grounds it. And Julio took a low slider down just really low and picked it out. Both Eugenio and Julio's home runs have been, to me, they were really eye-opening, not just the fact they're home runs, but how they hit him. It wasn't necessarily against hanging pitches. Pitch wasn't in the worst location. Hitter just put a good swing on it. Julio knocks this one on the ground to third and running out hard. Just can't quite get there in time. Third baseman throws him out with a very nice throw. Out number 2. But Ichiro was so unique in that respect. Ability to, he could almost at will hit a ball on the ground to the left side. And we see Julio do the same thing kind of from the right-handed side. But with Ichiro, it was even more devastating because he might have had even more speed than a guy like Julio. And he's left-handed, so he gets out of the box quicker. So you could have just the most routine grounder to a third baseman or a shortstop, and they would have no chance on him getting to first. And those guys wouldn't play up close either because then he would just hit it right over their head. I always say it was like Ichiro had a little bit of a tennis racket out there, as they've said, instead of a baseball bat. That's the best way I've heard it described of it, and it's exactly appropriate. He's just excellent job of plate coverage. Shows you as well the fundamental of getting the bat through the zone at a level point and how good things can happen with that. And this Winker gets this into the gap, but great defense out there in left field. Boy, Kwan's made some plays here, and he can. That kid can scoot. We saw him make a play where he went into the stands last inning, and here he really got a great jump on that ball. That looked like it was going to be trouble out there in the gap initially, but he tracked it down. No doubt, too, Ichiro is eventually going in the Hall of Fame as well, so this will just a matter of time on that one. Megan says, Rodrigo reminds me of my godson Noah, who wears the same kind of goggles when he plays cricket. Rodrigo? Megan says, which college game be? You know, I'm scouting at USC and Rice game. Yeah, I wish I might check out the USC Rice game if I can find it, Megan. That's what I'm gonna look for. It was a Kentucky Miami. I think on ESPN Plus there's a Kentucky and Miami of Ohio game. And I'll try to schedule it through like StreamYard. So if you've got Seahawks scouting in your sub, do it. That it'll show up on your notifications. But I think I'm gonna scout that. I'm gonna stream that game. Fraternal Cloud, the Orioles still won't go away. They just keep chirping. Chirp, 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 chirp. Don't Blue Jays naturally, I think enemies of Orioles or like they kick Orioles' butt or something? They're hanging in there. They're hanging in there. And it's actually not bad for us that they are at this point. I actually am in complete favor of all of those AL East teams outside, of course, the Red Sox, who are hopeless, hanging in there as we get into September, because that means you're going to get the try-hard approach of all of those teams against each other when they're all forced to face each other through the denizens of September. So I'm okay with that. And Megan, I want you concentrated on Caleb Williams when he's playing. You don't have to really get into the XO stuff on it with him. I just want, when you're watching him, Megan, just tell him what's the feel of the body language you're in person on him. What is does he got a little bit of swag out there? Is he a little tentative? Does he look kind of like just I'm gonna let it rip? Because he had a little bit of that gunslinger look to him last year in Oklahoma when he went out there. But he's certainly one of those guys we're going to be paying attention to this year as well. Diego Castillo will take the hill here now. 46 games. He is 7-2 with a 3.38 ERA. 43 strikeouts and only 19 walks. Part of the Bomballero crew. Nitro, have you watched Rodrigo Blankenship's video on his Lego collection? Huh? I don't know Rodrigo. I think you guys are... I don't know who that is. I don't know. Ichiro has a good reason to be a fan. He's a fun player. Ball one here. Castillo misses outside. Richie Palacios up at the plate. You got 7, 8, 9 here in this inning. XC Depp just got here. Last night's game was so damn good. Oh, it was. It was, I think the announcer said it kind of right when I was listening to it, where they said this is the kind of game you just don't want to see it end. It's so good. And it's definitely had a little bit of that air of, you kind of hope a game like this, maybe get a little bit of a playoff kind of feel to it, right? Like it's Ichiro's weekend. Fans are going to start filling the stadium up now as they see this team is truly legit, and Castillo's gone to a 3-0 count here. And it has had that feel. Strike. Nice job coming back. Three, 1. Swing and a miss. Got him to swing. Went out the zone there. That was ball 4. And Palacio was just like, and that was too far outside. Steal a little wild here early on. See if the wide right-hander here can find the zone. It's a good pitch. 3-2. A little bit of a slider there. Went to the bottom of the zone. Hit it foul. Daniel, has this ever happened before? Rookie gets a massive extension already like this. I love it, though we have a superstar locked up for the prime of his career. But has any other player had this happen? Ichiro was great and humble guy too, very humble, and how much of a star he was. Yeah, Ichiro was an awesome star. And strike 3 called there. Nice job by Castillo getting back in that count after starting down 3-0. No, it's not. And that's why a lot of the video breakdown is going to be, in talking about this Julio deal, is going to be, discussing the contract and the particulars of the deal. But what it is for me, Daniel, is it's a forward-thinking deal. It's a deal that's not doing what the rest of the crowd's doing or doing what they did 10 years before. Well, this is the kind of deals we do. So this is more of, to me, a smart type of deal that you construct. Because what you're doing is you're realizing what you got, which is a potential generational player. And are there guys that come through that look like generational players that can sometimes flame out? Yeah, I would tell you that when they do that, there's usually some signs that they're going to do that. You talk about Tatis having the thing with the PEDs, but then you've got the bike accident. The reporters ask him about the bike accident, and he's like, oh, well, which one? A guy that there was obviously, I'm going to make a wild guess. Before they signed that deal, there were obviously some warning signs from the Padres front office about that, but they were in this hurry, and strike 3 on 3 pitches there by Castillo. Nice job. His stuff's really got some movement tonight. He's getting some wild swings on pitches. That was 7 inches outside the zone there on that slider. Just some nasty unit from the Bomballero. The Bomballero Castillo. Miles Straw steps up the plate down with 2 outs. The 9-hitter in the order here for the Cleveland Guardians, hitting .201 on the year with 0 for 2 day here so far. See if Castillo can close this up and get Munoz into the 8th. Munoz or Swanson. I think has not Sewald done two straight nights. He might not be available in this one. But the forward-thinking approach of it is the one that you mentioned. No, I don't remember a time that a rookie is signed to a deal like this as a contract extension. I don't at all. I think that teams tend to try to, as Pauly Shore would say, squeeze the juice, buddy. They want to try to get all of those cheap, young years out of it as they can. And you do that for a couple reasons. You do that because it lowers your payroll, and you can obviously then better build your roster in the moment. And not many general managers are looking at a deal through the lens of 5, 6, 7 years down the line. They're just looking at it in the moment now. And then the other aspect is, of course, too, then you have no risk involved by doing that, because then you can just sit there, and if something catastrophic happens to that young player, then you just don't sign up for nothing. You go, oh, too bad for him. Glad we didn't sign him to that deal. But you also can get yourself caught in the territory where you play that game a little bit too much of, we're going to grind this thing out, and you're then caught in a situation where player doesn't want to sign with you. Teams know that you're then going to have to move him. You're running out of time as far as his rookie deal is concerned. Here's the wind, and this is going to be hit up into the air. Looks like Haniger's under it, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. So nice job here by Castillo. Very quick inning of work. We will go now into the middle of the 7th inning stretch. Mariners up 2-1. So again, there's a long answer on this one. This is why I'm going to do a whole video to this, Daniel, but I look at it through that lens as well. And so let's look at an example of that going on in baseball right now, which is the Soto deal and what happened with the Nationals. And, thankfully, I guess they did recoup enough value back in return from the Padres and what they reportedly gave up for him, which was basically double the package that we gave up for Castillo. Nonetheless, it's not an ideal situation to be moving off of young superstar players at that point, is it? Doesn't seem like the exact right approach to be going at if you're trying to build up an awesome team. So I come back to it from that standpoint. I go, okay, what would be the forward-thinking look then if I was trying to construct a contract like this? I would want to give as many years out as I could to get as much club control as I could. I would want to expect from the player that he's got to give me some discount on the deal, because I'm eating those 3 years of club control at that point, and that's cheap club control, even if an arbitrator becomes involved at one point. Still is cheap. So if he does that, that'll be good. And then the player's going to probably want me to put some incentives into the contract in order to offset that savings, to say, well, if I'm above and beyond this deal, if I go out there and give you MVP level of play, then I'm paid appropriately for it. I go through all that and I go, Daniel, okay, they covered all those bases within this deal and what they constructed here. They got the saving. It's a pretty team-friendly deal, but there's a reason for that because, like you said, this is a rookie deal year that they're doing this in. They're not waiting into year 2 or year 3. They're doing it very early on, and so they get some of that back. It's like they're getting the benefit of that back in the course of this deal, which then, of course, not only do you reward a young superstar who's on his way, but now you're going to be able to better put together your salaries over the course of the next 4, 5, 6 years because you're not going to be just hampered by Julio 2 years from now, suddenly hitting your salary at 50, 55 million a year by that point. Maybe that's going too high. That's probably going a little bit too high on it, but we know this is going to inflate and the Aaron Judge deal is just going to send things through the roof. I love the deal in every way, shape, and form, Daniel. And how nice is it for us in Seattle who have seen so many superstars walk out the door to finally know that we're going to be able to keep one for the very long-term foreseeable future. I mean, that alone makes me happy, but the particulars of a deal just make me overjoyed with it. Mitch Haniger comes up to the plate here now in the 7th. Got a 1-0 count. Hits the ball on the ground to third. Mirrors up with it. And that will be a quick out here. Mariner offense has not produced a whole lot today. Plesac has indeed pitched a very good game. As I've said, the Cleveland staff has pitched a very good game throughout the course of this series. It's just the offense has done just enough with very stellar pitching from your Mariners. XE Depp, I moved to South Carolina from Oregon about 6 months ago. I appreciate the coverage because all I ever get is Braves game on TV. Thanks, sir, at the Crow's Nest. Oh, my pleasure, XE Depp. Long term, this will go in a way where we're going to be able to, hopefully as we go in even into next year, I'll be getting more and more games up with this and, be able to do this even more consistently as we go forward. So, especially as the football channel allows me to kind of do all this stuff kind of full time. So that's going to be the goal of this long term is to be able to do this kind of play by play. If not 162 games, well over 100 games next year will be definitely the goal. Suarez has got an 0-1 count here and now quickly an 0-2 count. Boy, I feel bad for Suarez. When he does show patience, the pitchers just put it right there. Some tough pitches. Again, I'm really impressed by Plesac in this game. He's worked the zone. He's not messed around, but he's not worked the zone from the meaty portions of the plate. He has done like there on an 0-2 pitch where he then tries to get you out there nibbling on it, and it's a good pitch. He's getting you on a good he has no intention of throwing it for a strike. He's going to try to get you to bite, but he does a very good job of keeping it close. 1-2. Suarez, it's a good swing on this. This is going into foul territory. It looks like it might drift back in, and it does. Suarez will stay alive here with a 1-2 count. Appreciate you, though, Deb. Grug, can't wait to sack Russ 8 times week 1. I only hope. I hope our defense is that good. Please, God, yes. Tom Eden, I came from more the KGJ, A-Rod, Martinez, Johnson times. Man, we had a stacked team back then when I think about 95. Oh, it is. I mean, having Griffey and A-Rod on the same team at the very same time, both relatively close to their primes. Griffey right in the middle of his prime, A-Rod just kind of ascending into it. 1-2, high. And then you had Edgar Martinez around them, Buhner. That was a tremendous lineup. They even did a good job through that time of getting guys in the lineup that were still had that good pop too, even beyond that. Of course, Blowers wasn't bad through his time. He had some pop from third base. Paul Sereno, first base they brought in. If it wasn't that, there'd be a Vince Coleman type out there in left field where it's a guy that can steal some bases. But they always rounded out some pretty good lineups. You had little Omar Vizquel. Imagine if little O had stayed. 3-2 count. Suarez has done a good job working this. Ugh. Takes a fastball right at the knees and he says, F. He knows. He knows that that was the pitch right there. It's very close to the same location on the pitch that he hit for a home run earlier. I think he was just looking for something else. Maybe thought he was going to get a slider there. Eden Tech World says, behold the firemen. Behold the firemen. Los bombarderos. All right, Lamb up to the plate now for the Mariners. He is, of course, inserted into the game because Ty France got ejected. Ty had 3 pitches that were well out of the zone. Ty went back into the clubhouse, took a look at the replay of those pitches well out of the zone, lost his effing mind, came back out onto the field and let the umpire know that he had seen those pitches and that they were absolutely BS, that he called all 3 of them strikes, and he was quickly rung. I'm not going to say that he called the ump a seasucker, which is, of course, the no-no in baseball, but he may have. 1-1, swing and a miss. 1-2, not the greatest of at-bats here by Mr. Lamb. Lamb might just get ready to be sheared here. Kronos, just a heads up, your stat cast on the stream is still showing. Oh, I'm sorry, man. That would make sense. There we go. That should update it. It's touchy where you got to have it up on the deal to whatever, you know. This ball's hit up in the air, high, deep, far, and back into the right field bleachers. Nice. I'm sorry, I was flipping over, playing between things. We got a home run by Lamb. I was just giving the guy a hard time about his at-bat. He had a couple of very meek swings. And then sent this one on the ride. Gave the Mariners a little bit of insurance here. Oh, please, Zach hung one. Hung a breaking ball. I was just giving him credit for when he's trying to get strikeout pitches here. He's got 5 of them in the game. He's doing a good job of staying out of the zone when he's going for those Ks. Castillo did a great job of this in this game too. On that one, he just got too much of the plate. Too much of the plate, and it didn't have enough break on it. That thing hung just a little bit. And Lamb was no doubt sitting on the breaking ball there. Good job by Lamb to reclaim that at bat. He reclaimed that at bat like wood out of the river. Megan, Rodrigo Blankenship is the kicker for the Colts. Oh, I'm sorry. I was totally messing. I was blanking on that, Megan. I chose like Rodrigo. He wears the goggles. Badly nearsighted. Hashtag is respect the specs. Nice. 2-0 count here to Carlos. Black Magic Woman. Santana. Lamb feeling pretty good. I would too, man. That at bat was looking real dark. Bat was looking real dark. Santana takes a big hack there. Fouls it back. Mariners might end up leading the major leagues in home runs at this point by the end of the year. Ty France can start raking again too. And like, goodness. D-Boy, what's up, man? Good to see you in the chat. How you doing, bro? Hope all is well. Corey, Yankees lost. Well, brother, sometimes they're good days indeed where you win and the Yankees lost. That's a double deuce right there. That's a double deuce. Santana rakes this one into the shift. Oh, you feel bad about that for Carlos. That in 130 years of baseball, 128 years of those baseball years, that would be a base hit. But with the way the shifts run now, that's not happening. Of course we missed you, D-Boy. You know we missed you. It's not a stream chat here without a D-Boy in the house. Washington Fish Quest. Stream on, Brandon. Stream on. Stream on, bro. Stream on. Scott Skoberg says Twins wanted to walk off with 4-pitch walk. Goodness. When you can't find the zone, I guess you can't find the zone. Oh, D-Boy, thank you for reminding me of that. Please, if you guys like what you're listening to, hit that like button for me. Helps the channel out. Helps me grow. Helps me show. Danny W., what if the NFL did this like the Jags had so many holes, very little weapons for Trevor Lawrence? What if now they started paying him $30 million a year so that in 2 seasons or so, I see where you're going with this, they could add some more pieces on good, affordable deals. $30 million when other quarterbacks are at $50. I think you bring up what would be a very creative way of doing it. I think that the NFL is getting more creative, to your point on that. We've seen this with the way the guaranteed money is now factoring in more than the bonus money is into deals, whereas before it was all bonus money and base. Now you have this bonus, guaranteed, and base situation that factors in, which allows teams to play with the numbers a little bit more and move them around a bit more creatively. The reason why you don't have those young guys able to get new contract extensions in the first 3 years is because of the fact it was working in such a way where those guys were setting market-breaking deals when they were walking in the door out of college. You'd have a quarterback who was the number 1 overall pick like Sam Bradford coming out of Oklahoma, who would then sign his contract and instantly be the highest paid player in the NFL. And so that's why they pushed back against that. I don't think they're going to give any more. I don't think they would give any ground up to relinquish that, because it was the players that were pushing for that at that time, Daniel, saying we're no guy that's not played in this league should be paid more than anybody else in this league. It should be to the guys who have earned it making that money. I get where you're coming though with on it. It's very creative. Stinging Devil Rays, who's winning right now. Mariners are up 3-1. Bottom of the 7th inning. Or I guess now we're going top of the 8th. Andres Munoz comes in. Another key member of the Los Bomballeros. 50 games, 2-4 record with a 2.47 ERA. 82 strikeouts and 13 walks in 51 innings of work. He will face up the top of the lineup here. Strike. Tough pitch there. Tough pitch there. Outside, 1-1. The Tech World fire breather time, that's right. Time for some steam to come off that baseball. How nice of Lamb to get us a little tack on run there, too. Foul back. 1-2. Goems is right. Tommy Eden, was France right, though? Yeah, Tommy. Damn Skippy, he was right. Umpires, look, it's worked both ways. The announcers talked about this. It's, this is where it's a little bit of the problematic aspect of those hitters going right back to the telecast and looking just at their at bat and where the ball is. It's also a little bit of, talking to the other hitters in the lineup going, is he calling a wide zone on you guys tonight as well? And I to give the umpire credit in this regard, he's being equally crappy. So his consistency on missing some of the zone is on both sides of the plate. Castillo got the benefit of the doubt on this, on a couple of his calls. But nonetheless, was he right? Yeah, he was right. And that was a very close pitch there by Munoz that they called a ball. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Kwan's gotten this to 3-2. Opening hitter of this inning. Outside, draws a walk. See, you gotta make him swing there, man. Gotta make him swing. Big country, that Ty France at bat was highway robbery. Should be suspended. Yeah, I would have been pissed out as France too. We've talked about it on the channel here. You're struggling, you're scuttling, you're scuffling, and you just can't. You're just not getting in your flow, and then you just can't get a call. And you give 3 calls in a row like that and just one at bat. It's enough to make a man snap. Rob Terrell, this hump is horrible. Yeah, it's if the umps are trying to hold back the robo umps, these kind of performances are not going to do it. 0-1 here to Rosario. Runner on first. Hits it back foul. Runner was going there. Quan was running. Scott Skoberg says, go Mariners from a Twins fan. Thank you, man. We'll do you guys some more work here. We'll help you out a little bit. We got you. We got you tonight. The Bomballeros are in there now, see? Once the firemen come out, the ladies fall to their knees and the bats just start swinging through baseballs. It's just a fact of life. 0-2 count here to Rosario. Right in off the hands, fights it off. This ball's going to get down, and he might get to third. No, he's not going to test that Haniger gun. Quan didn't want any part of that Haniger gunpowder. Haniger was just about, you can see him getting ready to load up. Good pitch by Munoz. Slider ran right in on the hands. Inside out swing there by Rosario, and he just manages to get enough on the ball to poke it out there into right field. So the Guardians are threatening here now. Runners on first and second, nobody out, and the dangerous area of this lineup is coming into play. Jose Ramirez steps up to the plate, the man responsible for the run here so far for the Cleveland Guardians. Winning runner up at the plate. Strike, 101, top of the zone. Munoz just goes right at him. Even McKinley Ratter says, other than homers, we still don't have a base runner. That's very true. It's not been another good night for the at-bats, for the Mariner bats, that's for sure. 0-1 here. Runners get their lead. Hit, fair, down the line. This is trouble. Quan's going to score. This is also probably, no, he will hold them up. When now we got runners on first and second, nobody out. Ramirez just smacked that ball down the line. And Munoz has come in and really struggled here out the gate. That opening walk is killer. You got to make him swing. And here he early on in this count, he threw a 101 mile an hour fastball right up at the top of the zone, testing him. And I thought that was interesting. You got the three-hitter in the order here. You're going to go right in the middle of the zone high on him and test him. That's a guy that can make you pay the price. And he went back there again here on this pitch. And this time Ramirez was able to hurt him here. So three hitters for Munoz and three guys get on base. See if Munoz can stem off some of the bleeding here. Big Country last two at-bats aren't bad. Got to give Cleveland credit. Yeah, they've done a good job here. Done a good job. It's interesting here as the Mariners don't walk Naylor here. They must feel like this is a good matchup, and indeed they get a first pitch swinging on the slider. Boy, Naylor's a big boy. He's got to be well over 250. There is a lot of gut on that Naylor. Lordy. Interesting here, though, that you don't walk him lefty-righty matchup. And you could also gotten the force at home, which he knocks the ball to first base. Rosario does come home. That will be a tie game now. Odd choice there by... I don't like that choice by Service, frankly. Because now you've got a lefty up. He hits it over like this to a first baseman. Now the guy on second moves over to third. Not to mention the guy scores from home. So now you have the winning run on third with one out. I don't know why Service doesn't walk him there. I guess it's that you have another lefty up behind him. But at least then you've got a force out at every position / a double play. That ball could have been a double play ball. How do we get out of this inning? I don't know right now, Tommy. Again, they're similar situation here as you have this guy come up, runner on third, nobody on first. He's a lefty at bat. I would at least consider here walking him and trying to preserve a double play opportunity. The Mariners are going to play up around the infield grass instead. But Service has played this very, very oddly this inning. Hit right in a line drive deep. This is going to easily score the run as Julio will make the catch. And the Cleveland Guardians have turned this whole game around in this one inning. 3 runs off of Munoz, 3 fast runs off of Munoz, completely turning the tide. Kid's been pretty money throughout the course of this year. It starts that opening. You got the leadoff runner. And he's out there knowing he's got to just try to get on base by any means. He's going to be taking some pitches. You can't walk that opening runner. You've got to go after him. You've got to make him get on base by hitting to not put yourself in that early trouble like that. Munoz hasn't looked necessarily great beyond that, but stands out here in this inning is what a horrible call by the umpire. Oh my goodness. Sting Devil Rays, is Castillo still in? Nope, not in any longer. And he had a very good outing. Probably his best one of the year so far, I think, for us. 0-2 here now. Tommy Eden, it was just bad strategy. That's what I feel like. I would have walked him myself. I would have walked him and then tried to see if I could get. Then I've got to force it every position. I've got the double play ball, so okay. Then I don't have to play up on the grass either at that point. You know, if it is a double play ball in the next point and they do score the 1 run, then at least I have 2 outs with the runner on third rather than the 1 out with the runner on third. All right, 1-2 here to Gonzalez. Ball hit on the ground at third base. Suarez all over this. And that will end the inning. Damage done. Damage has been done, though, as Cleveland is able here to... Cleveland is able to get some runs and turn the tide on this game. Man, that was brutal inning for Munoz. Sting Devil Rays just won and at home. Just got to get out of it. Yeah, we just need one more run now. I think we are working through the bottom of our lineup. So I'm guessing you got Frazier, Crawford, and they probably pinch hit Casale at this point, who's 0 for 2 in this game. I imagine you'll see Raleigh at that point. I would imagine. Tough inning. Tough inning. Supermarkers new. They've got some magic to them lately. They've found a way at times here. So let's see what they can do. Let's not count them out yet. My stuff right here. Sorry, folks. Bear with me 1 second here. All right. Fraternal Cloud says Munoz struck out Quan. This ump has been sus. He's just got some betting stuff going on this game, man. He's trying to clear a little bit of debt. Some very strong-willed Italian gentleman back on the East Coast. And, we unfortunately are just a little bit of what's going to have to be the suffering point of that, so he doesn't lose any fingers. I guess I can't be mad. All right, let's go, Ems. Let's bring this one back. Let's show them what we're made of. Frazier steps up to the plate, takes 0-1 here. Come on, Frage. Come on, Frage. Bottom of the 8th inning. Karinchak comes in for the Cleveland Guardians. Right-hander. Bounces it. 1-1. Tom Eden says, as a software developer, kind of digging this website. Very well done, informative. I know, I'm with it too. I love the way MLB set this up. I wish that football was able to do the same thing. I'd run it as my backdrop with that too. 1-1. Looked a little high there, but it got the strike. 1-2. Sting Devil Rays, I think this is from the show. I think it is too, but it's smart of them to use it that way. To me, I think, again, like I wish NFL did the same thing. I think it would be a cool way of doing it. You could totally overlap. Maybe it'd be probably harder with football. 1-2 here to Frazier. Bounced again. 2-2. Good eye. Megan says, I'm trying very hard to stay awake, B. Not that you're boring, but staying up for hours playing Madden 23 and then getting up for the church has me struggling to keep my eyes open. No worries. I'm kind of low energy today too, Megan. I was working all day, so I'm in a definite chill mode myself. I'm not going to be long into the night here myself either. All right, we got 2-2. Let's see if Frage can get on here like the Quan did in the last inning for the Guardians and start us off right. Karinchak, the pitch. Hit up into the air. This is going to be playable to second base. And he makes the catch. Out number 1. All right. Ty Crawford up to the plate now. Come on, Ty. Seattle bats in this game outside of the 3 home runs. No walks, no other hits. J.P. Crawford continues to see his batting average just kind of over the course of this year. It is just slowly went from being well over 300 all the way down to 257 now. Don't know if he's a little bit maybe tired here, but another guy looking to try to find his stroke here back again. Takes ball 1. Fouls it back on a fastball on the outside part of the plate. 1-1. Megan says that, and I was very busy all day yesterday. That doesn't help. As I can attest to, Megan, as somebody's, as I get older, it's like you only got so much a finite amount of energy now. Like when you're young, you just bounce around 24/7, 5 hours of sleep, no problem. Now it's like a couple days of rolling around, you just get like, I need a relaxed day. Big Country, nearly all of our runs have come from the long ball all week. Yeah. Bats continue to struggle to find, just no consistency in there. 2-1. Good eye by Crawford. Megan says, I have a major sleep disorder and regret every nap I ever fought as a child. All right, 2-1. Karinchak comes set. Crawford wiggles the bat. Bounced in at the plate, 3-1. Got to feel like Crawford here is going to probably try to take 3-1, get on base. And indeed, Cal Raleigh is looming on deck. Cal's going to pinch hit for Casali. Casali. The Casald one. Three and one. Karinchak comes set. Here's the delivery. Outside. God, the stupid umpire. What is he looking at? What is he looking at? Oh. 3-2 pitch on a horrible call by the umpire. Crawford bats it on the ground to first base, and that's going to be an out. Get the robo-umps in here. Enough of the prototype testing. I don't care. Like, the prototype testing can't be any worse than this. Asinine. He's legit missed like 15 to 20 calls in this game. Can't wait for robo-ums. Can't wait. All right, the big dumper comes up to the plate now. Let's see if he can give us a long ball here. Keep us in this game. High ball. I can't believe that pitch. I'm with Crawford on that one. I'm just stewing on that one. That's a good at bat on his part. That's a walk. How does he call that pitch? All right, 1-0. Let's go, Cal. Chinak comes set. Swike. Slider outside there. Korchinachak is like no more Garcia Parra out there. He's got about 15 little ticks and bounces and touching the back of the cap and then touching his face, then wiping his face, then touching his chin, then shaking and tapping and going through a bunch of spasms before he gets to the pitch. 1-1. Fastball right down the middle of the plate. I don't know. Maybe Cal must have been looking slider there. It's right down Main Street. Daniel says, well, that sucks. He calls a strike, and on the last inning, he called the ball on a guy when it would have been a strike. It's definitely all over the place with his zone. It ain't just high, low, outside. He's all over the place in his misses. Guess he's just not seeing it tonight. 1-2 pitch here to Cal. Bounces it at the plate. 2-2. Korchinachak's done about 4 of those. Man, he's got to bounce the ball twice, touch the back of the rubber. Somebody OCD much? Oh my goodness. I wonder if he only bounces the ball once in his glove, if it totally messes him up as he tries to go and pitch. I must bounce the ball twice and tap the head once, or the pitch won't be right. Yeah, he's doing good so far, so I guess who am I to question? 2-2 delivery. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Cal goes down right in the middle of the plate. That will end the inning. So the Mariner bats ice cold outside of 3 home run balls in this game. And we go into the bottom and the top of the 9th. Mariners down 4-3. Brutal. Brutal. Megan says, I know for a fact Mr. Cosell would have said something about the ump speed. I'll tell you he will. I'm going to tell you right now, Seattle Mariner fans, I haven't seen an egregious call that bad at that an important time of a game since the 72 series between the Red Sox and Cincinnati Reds. I can only wonder what kind of medication or intoxicants this umpire must be upon. Surely only drugs or peyote could be the cause of such ridiculous calling behind the plate. This man is single-handedly on his own going to usher in the new era of robo-umps. He will be looked down upon by his peers for having done so, and they will call him the killer of the umpire behind the plate. I cannot understand how bad you can be on a consistent basis as this. I can only wonder. Yeah, Cal didn't look good on that at bat. Cal was like, I'm supposed to have the night off, right, guys? I'll be right back, folks. 1 second. Hold on. All right, Matt Festa takes the hill for our Mariners. Takes over for Munoz. Quickly gets a 1-1 count here on Palacios. Tommy Eden says you need to add a Bob Uecker on Harry Carey to the rotation just to round it out. The Cosell is on point. I will. I can do both those guys. If I work on it, I can get both of them. Harry's especially pretty easy because he he's very specific and you get him. And then Will Ferrell kind of showed you the pathway to landing that one the right way. The Bob Uecker one's the one I got to, just a bit outside. I got to work on that one a little bit. He's a little more not as specific as Carey, but I'll get it. I'll get him. 1-2 count here for Festa. Fair ball, Lamb on it. Festa covering. He is out. Great play by Mr. Lamb. Dove to his left, right on the line, just inside the bag. Hit on a line. Good job there. Festa covering. Well done. Nice play there by Lamb. He's a utility player too. Consider that's a guy who played left field, right field. Nice job. 1 out now. Ethan Teckrell says, I want to see Service get his shoes dirty. Get out there after the next bad call. Me too, man. I want to see him throwing. A base. I want to see him doing the Pinella to pull a base out and then just throw it. Oh, I'll get him, Tommy. I know I get those. I was meaning to look up carry the other night because I've done carry before when I was playing around with it before. But I just can't. I had forgotten the tone on it. It's been a while. He's got Farrell doing with carry. You got to do it with the he's got the little bit of that shake going, you know. All right, it's got a little die. We're going to the That's it. Carrie's fun too. All right, Festa's got 1-1 here. Batted foul, 1-2. I don't know who put this man up at the plate, but he's a good hitter. It's like we're getting the closer, Clace the closer out there, ready to go for the ninth for the Mariners. That ball's hit up into the air, skied to left field. Looks like Dylan Moore's out there underneath it, and that will be another out. Boy, it feels like we are missing Haggerty in the lineup tonight, doesn't it? We need a little more swags. We need a little more drip. Lineup doesn't got enough drip in it tonight. It's a little too dry. It's a little crusty tonight, you know? Tommy, hey, if the move was made of cheese, would you eat it? I know I would. And I'd wash it down with an ice cold Budweiser. I remember that. Farrell was awesome with that impression. Strike on the outside part of the plate. 2 outs now. 0-1 here to Mr. Straw. Miles Straw, not the straw that stirs this lineup's drink with a 200 average, no home runs and 23 RBIs. He's got some thin little arms there, does Straw. 1-1 now. Hey. Festa comes set. Oof, good pitch there. Job by Straw to hold up. That was on. That was there. Two-one pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball outside part of the plate. So Straw was sitting on. He took that last slider that if he was looking to try to swing a slider, he would have swung at that. The thing was right. Looked middle plate, just swung off last second. Well, if I'm Festa here, I'm looking to hit him with the slider on the outside part of the plate. If I can get to the zone on it, try to work the play a little bit with it. It comes back fastball high. Straws fights it off. Yeah, Tommy, I can get the carry. Carry, I could get a couple minutes of watching him. I can get him, I know. Euchre's a little bit different. Festa shakes off the first call. So he wanted to come right back with the heat here. Indeed he does. Outside, 3-2. Come on, don't nibble on this guy. He's hitting 200. He hasn't hit a home run all year. You got 2 outs. Don't put the 9-hitter on base. Service doing this with his lips. Slider, good pitch. Fouled it off. Rob Torelli's been calling that all night long. Yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's been bad. 3-2 here from Festa. Got to give the Guardians lineup credit. I don't know how many foul balls they've hit in 2-strike counts tonight, but it feels like about 46 fouls on 2-strike pitches. Good job tonight of keeping themselves alive in counts. Especially helped them getting to this Mariners bullpen. You wouldn't often say that you want to work your way into the Mariners bullpen, but when, of course, Luis Castillo's up on the hill, might be one of those rare moments you do that, and Straw again knocks the ball back foul. So count remained 3-2. Especially with the way that Castillo was dealing tonight. Straw doing a good job staying alive here. 3-2. Any Terry Francona team will be tough to beat this big country. I agree. I think he's one of the upper-level managers in this sport. Again, foul. Festa's giving him pitches in the middle of the plate. Straw just can't do nothing with him. Come on, Straw. You're 0 for 3. You're hitting 200. You know you aren't getting a base hit here. Just get through this inning. Just get yourself out. Give us a nice meager swing here. It's that out to right field. Haniger giving chase. Tracks it down right on the line. Foul line. And that will be out number 3. Well, the top of the order will come to the plate next inning. Julio Rodriguez, Dylan Moore, and Mitch Haniger. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if our Mariner bats can do anything else. Big country, we need some magic, man. We need some big-time Mariner magic here. Do they walk Julio? No. Because then you're walking the tying runner for a guy who has the speed to then steal second base. No. They'll pitch to him. I don't know if Julio's ascended quite to that point where teams are just looking to completely pitch around him in these kind of situations. He will get to that point eventually, but he's not there yet. This is nothing like a nice 2-run walk-off right now. They'd be perfectly fit to form for this team, wouldn't it? Exactly the type of team they've been here. It's like, we're fine. Just let us know when we get to the 9th inning. We're going to just be back here having a nap, which once the 9th inning comes, we'll get up. We got some coffee ready, you know. We like to pace ourselves. Tribe says, I know I'm the minority, but I like the name change to Guardians the minute it happened. I mean, I think you are in the minority on that one, buddy. I'm sorry. I just think it's such a, it's to me, it's not like a bad name. It's just the most boringest of names. And you have anything to choose from in the world, any possible iteration to choose from in the world. You know, not to mention there's no establishment to what it means towards Ohio. What does Guardians mean towards Cleveland or Ohio? I don't know. That's the part to me. It's like Seattle Mariners. Mariners, reference water, reference, you know, like that's to me what those names should be kind of built around. When it's just some generic, doesn't really reference anything, then I'm like, I don't know. Rob Terrell says if Julio gets on, they better bunt him over. It's Dylan Moore at that point. I think Dylan probably bunts. If it was other batters in this lineup, I don't think you'd get that. And Seattle's going to get maybe one of the best closers in the game here in this inning. So the job is not going to be easy on this one. Fans, I wish more fans would get on their feet in these kind of situations. Like, it's 9th inning, you lazy freaking fat asses. Get up. Give your hitter some energy. Get some juice to the building. These people just, oh my God, let me clap here. Get up. Show some spirit in life. Megan, if you're still in here, I swear to God, people better be loud around us. I do not want to go into that stadium and be watching my fellow Seahawks fans and they're just, watching the game quietly. Interesting. Interesting how that's going. First pitch, strike inside part of the plate. Julio 1 for 3 in this game with a solo home run in the third. Stinging Devil Rays is tomorrow for the series win. If we can't get any runs today, it will be. Well, we got the series win if it's today. It's 3 wins. Julio swings and gets under this ball. First baseman's got it. Big old Nailor's got it. Julio feels like he just missed that one. Ball did kind of hang up there. He just got a little underneath it. Right middle of the plate, and he knows, like, man, that was my pitch right there. Megan says, hell yes, I'm not going to fly 21 hours, which scares the hell out of me to sit in silence. I'm blowing my goddamn voice out, B. Exactly, we both will, Megan. I just hope the fellow fans around us are too. I've been in that stadium in the past recent years, and I've been at times unimpressed with my fellow 12s in the way that they've not helped out their defense and just sat there and, oh, I'm just here to enjoy the game. I'm just here to just watch it. We'll go home then. Let somebody else have the seat who's going to do their part. 0-1 now. Here to Dylan Moore. 1 out here, bottom of the 9th inning. Mariners' last opportunity. Dylan with a weak swing there. Slider, 1-2. 0-2. I know you'll yell, Megan. I know I wouldn't have to question with you, but the people around us, I'm having a feeling that we might go in there and be people just. Stinging Devil Rays, what's the story behind the 12s? The basic story of it is that 0-2. Dylan Moore hits it up the middle hard, but not hard enough to get past the second baseman. That will be out number 2. Mitch Haniger comes up as the last of the Mohicans here. Last Mariner chance. And the story is the Mariner fans were known for being so impactful into the sport, even in the 80s, is how loud they were, and that the team christened them as the 12th man, as you always have 11 men on the football field at any one given time. So the 12th man was being the fans. And, we got so loud, for instance, in the Kingdom, of course, that they started actually calling penalties on the fans for being too loud in the 80s. You've had games like 2005 in the Giants where there was like 14 false starts caused on the Giants. And this will go ahead and finish up the game as Mitch Haniger hits that on the ground. And this will be an easy out that will finish up the action here, and the Mariners do go down. So tough. You had this game in your hands. Castillo pitched a marvelous game. Mariner lineup just was not able to find a way to generate any runs tonight, generate any hits. Outside of those 3 hits, you were no hit in this game. So back to the drawing board a little bit. Luckily, the Mariners have taken the first 2 games of this series, so they still sit in very good position overall in the state of this thing, and they've played pretty good, consistent baseball here as of recent. So still very much in the driver's position, the pole position to go out there and get into the playoffs here still. But boy, you would have liked to have stolen this game out, wouldn't you have? Plesac really gave it to you, a guy 3-11 coming into this game, and you made him look almost ace-like over the course of this game and the way he was working this lineup. Kind of tough. Tommy says, were we the 12s first or Texas A&M? Texas A&M was the first technically with it. I don't know if they out and out just took it from them, or it was we thought of it after they had thought of it, and it was like, oh, you guys are doing this too? Like, I don't know the story on it, but we have the rights of using it now, and it's ours as much as theirs. Stream was good, at least. Thanks, Brandon. Hey, my pleasure, man. Sorry I couldn't go a little bit longer today as far as starting up a little earlier, but work duty calls, But Stingrays, I don't know much about the NFL, so I didn't get the 12, but I was actually watching last video night of 12s getting to retire. Yeah, so they retired. We're the only fan base essentially that's had something retired to us, which just again speaks to the impact of, the way to kind of put this Stinging Devil Rays is you have fans normally going in a stadium and they're going to try to generally be loud. Our fan base has for a very long period of time, decades on end, gone in there with the purpose to have an effect on the football game. And I think there's a keen difference between going in there to be loud and going in there to try to have an actual effect on the game by the sheer volume of your voice. And that's why we're a little bit different and separated in our approach, I think, than other fan bases are. Most fan bases don't kind of understand this. That's why we set a sound record before the Chiefs mucked the numbers and sort of played with it to try to took it over from us with Arrowhead. But we do this purposefully. We're recognized for it by the team. It's a tradition. It goes back generations here, so it's not just something that's been recent. It's been grandparents were doing this stuff, and it's something players have noted even going back into the Kingdome days, even when the team wasn't particularly good. And it's also something that you see, quite frankly, that still resounds even in other places. Like when you see this Mariner Stadium fill up into September as playoff baseball is coming, you're going to feel that same energy you get from the 12s on a Sunday, like you used to get from Key Arena with the Supersonics when they were good and doing what they were doing. It's just a different kind of, I don't know, maybe it's the gray skies always have us ready for that moment where we can kind of be exuberant and explode a little bit all together at one, but it is, to me, a little bit of a unique thing to the Pacific Northwest fan base up there, to the Seattle fan base. Rob Terrell, thanks for the commentary. B, always fun. Thank you, man. Jake Turtle, hey, man, John Stamos and Lance Bass, new Cubs, need to get it going. Base nude Cubs need to get it going. I don't know what you mean on that. I'm sorry, man. Tried to figure that one out, but tried to figure that out. Stinging Devil Rays says domes are a nice place for noise. Well, they are Devil Rays, but of course now our team's played out for the last 20 years in outdoor. And we set the Guinness World Book sound record in the outdoor stadium, not in the Kingdome. So it was the outdoor stadium where we actually set that loudest fan, loudest crowd in a stadium in history. We set that in the outdoor stadium. TJ, only way to honor Ichiro. Yeah, it was an awesome they did honor him that way. Spectre 7 umps blew that game wide open. Dude should be out of a job waiting for the soup kitchen. Yeah, he was awful today. One of the worst ump efforts we've seen this year. And as I've said once, I'll probably say it 1,000 times, Sector 7. The robo umps can't come fast enough for my money. I've got laser beams to get it exact and right, then give me laser beams. Megan says, Steve Largent, our founding father, now says he's deaf due to the crowd noise in the Kingdome. I believe it. I did ask Chad Brown in an interview earlier what was louder. He said that the outdoor stadium was louder than the Kingdome, and the Kingdome was loud. But it's that commitment to the volume. 23, frustrating loss, but Munoz wasn't going to be perfect forever. No, those come up. Those type of things happen. And we can't rely on the bullpen every game is the great way of putting it. You can't hope for them to bail you out all the time with stuff. Offense has got to do more. We need more games here where the offense can put 5-6 runs up on the board. Sam the Great says Ty France was right arguing those calls. Yeah, I get where he's coming from. You're scuttling, and then you can't get three calls in a row. Like, well, what do I got to do? Do I got to sacrifice a chicken here? What's going on? Tommy says, I was at a baseball game in the Kingdome in the 90s when there was an earthquake. Come to think of it, I was in there against the Indians. Oh, goodness. That's crazy. Fun times in that Kingdome. It wasn't the most colorful place to go into, but it was definitely a cool environment. Stinging Devil Rays also figured out that T-Mobile Park isn't enclosed. No AC. No, you don't need AC. It's not enclosed, and in the Pacific Northwest, it doesn't usually get hot enough to where you'll need it out there. There's some games in the middle of the summer in that park that are insane as far as how hot it can get. But no, it's not. It's always usually pretty temperate. Tribes has been all across the country. Safeco is my second favorite baseball stadium, with the San Francisco Giants being your favorite. That's a good stadium too, man. I just like stadiums myself, Tribe, that have a personality to them, that have something to them that feels unique to that city, that stadium. And certainly that is the case with San Francisco with that bay out there on the outside, like it is as close to the water as it is. And I really dug the fact that they put that there. Candlestick had a special ambiance to it, but you can't deny that the stadium location is Certainly a lot better tribe for the Giants than it is for where the 49ers are playing out there in Santa Clarita. But I could see that. I haven't had a chance to check out the San Francisco Stadium. I've been to the San Diego one. I feel like I've been in a couple others. I'm trying to think of. It'd be cool to check it out, though. Yeah, D-Nugget, the Mariners lost. Stinging Devil Rays, I like the retro parks with nice views. Me too. Just give me a park with some personality. Petco Park's nice. It's right there in the city, too. Which is the cool part about that. You're really right there in the heart of San Diego going to that stadium. And it feels very opened up for a stadium. Like you're at the right angle on a city street, you can see into what's going on. Big Country Nationals Park was May. Yeah, Nationals Park is kind of boring to me. I think the Tigers Park is kind of boring to me. Their new one, right? Just kind of these big stadiums that are just again, not a lot to them, really. They're just kind of there. Devil Rays, PNC, and Bush have nice views. Someday I'll try. I hope maybe get a chance to check those out. Sam the Great, they added neon pink lights to the outfield. Does that make a difference? That means everything. Can't beat Fenway. Again, I have Fenway, Green Monster. Green Monster like the Wrigley with its ivy. It's like, it's too historic. Can't ever change that. Angels, Dodgers, both basic. Yeah, Angels and Dodger parks are both basic. Those are both, to me, like lost opportunities for something a little bit more inventive. You can kind of do anything you want with those stadiums and parks and the dimensions. Why not go maybe a little bit crazy with it? Have fun. 283 says, are you going to do a prediction video on the Hawks Nest? I am indeed, TO83. Might do that kind of tomorrow. I'm turning over whether or not. I got a house sit tomorrow for a friend who's going out of town to camp. So I might do the show from another location tonight, tomorrow. But I was thinking of doing that. Putting the prediction show together. We're early enough on, I think I could do so. So yeah, maybe we'll do that tomorrow. It's a good suggestion. Stinging Devil Rays, but what park has the best experience? Ooh. I don't know. That's definitely in the eyes of the beholder on that one, probably. I love Safeco's experience. I think it's combined with where its location, everything. You can walk around that park. You can watch the game from a variety of different views without just being in your seat. The food they've got there to pick from was pretty good. The views are good from the seats overall. But again, I haven't been to enough other parks to make that too much of a homer on that one. Here we are, 18 of us, the birth of a new stream. Let's go. Oracle Park has a nice backdrop. Oh, yeah. Megan, I'm heading to T-Mobile Park while in Seattle. Figured there's no excuse as I'm not going to Lumen and Climate Pledge, so why not? Yeah, Megan, you should. Again, I think it's going to be an awesome environment there, too. Really do. 283 says I'm going to go with 7-10 for Seahawks record. Yeah, I'm going to end up probably landing right around there. It's 6. I'm at 6 or 7 right now. I haven't completely decided like final, but I'm kind of in that area. Sam the Great says I liked it more with Safeco. Me too. Wish they could just keep the stadium names the same. If they're going to sell the rights for 50 years. Fine. Let me get used to something. I change it every other 10 years. It's like, okay, now we're this. Okay, no, now we're this. And I'm sorry, but Climate Pledge Arena is stupidest name I've ever heard. Vegas is 5-7 wins for the Hawks if all goes well. Nah, just if it just goes how I think it's going to go, Megan. If all goes well, I think you get to 11 wins. If all goes bad, you're going to probably be at like 4 wins. But that's part of that variance I talk about where I see this team having a very large, difference of swath of what they could be this upcoming season. Tommy Eden says, I can't get on board with names like Climate Pledge. I can't either, man. I come from the childhood of Three Rivers Stadium, Candlestick Park, stadiums that had teeth teeth to their name, I say. And now we got these like silly, stupid names. No, it's dumb. Megan says, I love Climate Pledge as a name. It's in the old days, Megan, the stadiums and stuff used to have they could strike some fear in the heart of opponents as they come into it. Like, oh, we got to go into Three Rivers. It's going to be tough in there. Even saying something like Fenway, Wrigley, Ebbets Field. Like, just, there's just a little bit of a mystique to them. Climate Pledge doesn't have any mystique to it. Climate Pledge is like political slogan. D Nugget says, yeah, I missed the Key Arena name. Yeah, Key Arena was a good one. I like that one. Based on the crappy preseason, the fact Gino's our starter, says Megan. Oh, with the record, yeah. Sam says the optimistic side of me 7, pessimistic is 5. Yeah, it's true. Tom Eaton says, spay and neuter your pet stadium. Just doesn't work, man. No, it doesn't. Oh, Sam the Great, AI took over stadium names. Yeah, pretty much. Megan says, hey, I'm a foundation member of the Kraken. We were able to have input on the name. Kraken's awesome. That's where we got that one right. I love the Kraken name for Seattle. We do good on our names, though. Seahawks, Mariners, Sonics, Kraken. We even go back T-Birds. Like, we always do good on our Seattle Pilots back in the day was a good baseball name with the Boeing connection. D-Nugget says Brando Pledge Arena. That would at least have a little bit of a ring to it, right? Cat, don't you dare jump on my keyboard. Don't you dare jump on my keyboard. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go jump on the couch. Rainiers. Rainiers is a good one, too. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. MSR Rook Century Link was better than Lumen. Agreed. The names just get progressively worse. They should make the corporate people, if they're going to buy the thing, like, have to have a good corporate name. Like, you at least have to have something that's got a ring to it. They're just going to take whatever. Sam the Great Pacific Northwest deserves a basketball team. We do indeed. I think within 4 years at the longest, we'll have one, Sam. On the fast side of things, 2 years. But 4 years on the long end of things. Megan says, if it was Brandon Pledge Arena, I would hand in my Kraken membership. You would, Megan? That'd be an awesome name. Can't you just see it? Big, bold letters and lights right there at the top. Top Eden says, I just want to live long enough to see Sonics basketball again. I'm telling you, man, no more than 4 years. I'm making a great psychic prediction for you right now. No more than 4 years. 100%. TA3, they should let the fans vote on the name. They should. They got to get every last one of those dollar bills. D-Nugget, just have one name, then put your ads all over inside the arena, but not the master name. That should never change. Agreed. Like, isn't there a way to do, like, just to where you sell, like you said, sell it in parts and put, where the TV is going to capture it on the telecast in some point of the frame without having to just fully just vomit your whole corporate slogan all over everything on I don't know. Probably not. Megan says, no, I would rescind my membership straight away. You would grow to love it, Megan. You'd hate it at first, but eventually you'd come around on it. Remember the times that Seahawks win 4 games as my floor, 8 games as my ceiling. It's fair. Totally fair. Especially based on what they've shown you this preseason. Remember the time. Megan, can we have the 4 years for the Sonics come back in writing bee? I'm sick of waiting. No guarantees, Megan. No guarantees on my predictions. This is one psychic who makes his prediction and then leaves town. And if the prediction comes through, it does. And if it doesn't, he's not there to be hung up by the town at the town square. But it feels like, look, there was rumors of us coming out last year. They'd be 2 years by the NBA that they would have expansion teams in both Seattle and in Vegas within 2 years. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of math. I'm adding 2. It's not the most scientific way of doing it, but the NBA is going to want to get a team in Seattle. I know they do. Sam the Great Kraken was a cool name. I'll give the Seattle that. They did pretty good on that one. Sting Devil Ray says Roman Healthcare Park. The crack house. I mean, this is too good. Tom Eaton says, I heard the rumor that the Kings almost moved to Seattle. Was there truth to that? There was indeed. The guy who prevented it was actually a former Phoenix Sun. The point guard for the Suns back in the day when your Sonics were playing them was in the mayor's office or whatever, and he managed to put together a deal to make it so they could remain. But it was absolutely for a very long period of time looking like they were going to be moving. They should. California's got 39 basketball teams. They can do with one less. Not that I want to take somebody else's team, but Sacramento. You guys ever driven through Sacramento? Huh? It's Sacramento. MSR Rook, what are the odds of Gino winning comeback player of the year? Some tough guys to go up against who might have some good years in pop this year. Pretty long. If Seattle makes the playoffs with him there, then better. But I think that's going to be a prerequisite to even be in the discussion. If you're looking percentage, like 10%, 5%. If you played, I guess so I'm saying if you played 100 times, 5 of those things. Oh, no. I'd say there's like a 1% chance. If you played 100 times this season, Gino would win comeback player of the year once. Tommy Eaton, not Nash. No. This I'm talking about back in the 90s Suns with Barkley. Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson was the mayor or some city. He had gotten himself to be some city official in Sacramento and got them to hold on to the team there. Minnesota Rook, nobody likes the Sacramento Kings, even the fans. I know. That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't even be all that mad. They just kind of shrug and be like, well, we don't have any other pro teams anyway, so who cares? Let's just go be Warrior fans. Tommy says, I have. Sacramento's forgettable. Drive through town. It is completely forgettable. There's not one keynote marker within the town that stands out to it that makes you go, oh, Sacramento. Oh, cute little town. Oh, check that out. Nobody ever said that about it. The country goes 0.01%. My little high, my odds there. A little high. Sam the Great says, screw the Kings. We'd inherit their losing philosophy. Maybe, but we would have a team. We would have a team. New York and Cali have a lot of teams. Yeah, they do. I mean, Sacramento really doesn't need to have a pro team. But I'd also say the same thing about Memphis. 283s is the Kings and the Angels are basically the same. Kind of. The other weird thing about California having so many teams, I know there's a lot of people there, but it's not exactly like a sports hub there. People are kind of into other things. So having that many teams is a little bit of a saturation, in my opinion, of the market. And Mr. Rook, what I don't get is the people who are calling the Seahawks a JV team and saying we're going to be in line for the first overall pick. And if you ask them why, they say, well, you guys have Geno as your QB. Yeah, that's all you got to do with an MSR Rook, right? It's like a sticker. You pull the sticker off and see what's underneath as far as their philosophy and what builds them to believe that. And you come to find that it's just built on the quarterback position. And I think that's, again, where I think that this is where the marker swung too hard as far as the quarterback importance and the way people look at them and how they are everything now for teams. And none of the other parts of the team seems to matter, just as long as you have the quarterback, seems to be the philosophy from some people that they would like to espouse. I don't agree with it, and I do think that quarterbacks matter, but this whole the end-all, be-all, the sun rises and sets only with your quarterback position as being this I don't buy into any of it. I think it's false. And we're going to see a lot of how much that measure holds up this year with our Hawks and this team and how they play offensively. We will see. Geno's got a lot of guys to throw to on the outside. He's going to have a relatively decent offensive line. He's going to have a great running game with great backs to work through. So he's got a lot to work with here. He's going to get his opportunity to show what he can do, not being asked to do a lot. But I do not see this team any way, shape, or form. And you're right, Rook. There's a lot of people talking about it that way. I don't view them through that lens. I do have kind of a 4-5 win floor if things go bad and the quarterback position is just non-functional and they don't implement some of the scheme changes that they talked about implementing. That's where they could be on the low end. But I much more likely see them in probably the 7-win range of things. Legos Liam, the up was absolutely completely garbage today. And garbage Liam at the worst of times. It's always just on keynote spots. Crawford there could have drawn an opening walk. The France, yeah. Tommy, it's had to even get to a game in California due to the traffic, and then the prices are insane. It's like the old candlestick days. I'm not sure how they sustain these teams. I'm not either. I mean, it is. It's incredibly expensive. It's hard to get through. You've got in some places the homeless issue to deal with. You go down to San Diego into that stadium, you got a big homeless problem to walk through if you're not able to park close and get through. And they're not violent or anything with it. It's just another layer of difficulty to get through a bit. But yeah, it's traffic in those places is absolutely absurd. Imagine having to devote 3 hours just to get to a game, or just to watch a game, just to get to the game. Vegas, as I've said from day one, in rugby, all members of the team are important. The QB being the all and end all of an NFL team drives me insane. I always thought it was a team sport. Am I wrong? I don't think you're wrong, Megan. I think that they definitely have built up to be more valuable now than they were, let's say, 25, 30 years ago, where they already were maybe a little more valuable than the rest of the given players on the team. But we have reached, to me, a little bit of a breaking point on this. Every new quarterback's now going to sign a $50, $55, $60 million per year deal. You've got to cater to these guys right and left. Now, not only do they expect to be paid, but they expect you to stack a whole complete team around them. It's as I've said, we are in the diva era of quarterback play right now, and in all ways, shape, and form. In the way that people sort of worship them right now, to how much they get paid, to how much it's, to me, gone a little bit too far into that direction of things. And I think there needs to be a little bit of a course correction here for a team that can look at it through more of the lens of how to build up a team rather than how to build up to a quarterback position. 283 says, even so, why do you need 3 teams in the same sport in one state? Why not spread franchises throughout the whole country to expand viewership and engagement with the sport? I don't know. They look at those big markets, 283, and it's just so many people. It's too tantalizing for them not to put franchises there because they see it's just so many more people in those places versus you put a team out in Wyoming. You might have the whole state on board there, but the whole state only has so many people at the end of the day. And I'm with you. I think it would be better. It's more of that short-term view versus the long-term view. And you've got leagues looking at things through the short-term range and not the long-term range and the benefits of it. I could say like a place like Boise, Idaho. If you put a pro team in Boise, Idaho, that whole state would have their back on it. But for some reason or another, they don't even consider that. No sports do. Sector 7 says, I was kind of shocked Scott didn't get in the ump's face after that awful JP strikeout. Yeah, I was hoping he was going to come out there too. Sometimes for me, he's a little bit too nice guy with stuff rather than, guy's a former catcher. Come out there and you know what's the strike, not go out there and let him know. And I know that you're getting instantly rung for that stuff, but I would still, in those moments, I do like the old Lou Piniella way of things of I may not have much control on this type of stuff, but if it's wrong, it's wrong, and I'm going to let you know it's wrong. And if you cost us in that fashion, then I'm going to really let you know it's wrong. And I really don't care if you don't like that. I don't really care if I get fined for that. But that's who I'm going to be as a manager a little bit. I don't think it's Scott's style, but that's who I would be with it too. KK Sports, am I worried about J-Rod not being consistent? No, KK. He's a rookie. He's 21 years old. He's going to be an MVP. If not for the injury that he sustained there, he'd be probably an MVP discussion right now. So, what do we expect the kid to come up as a rookie and be 100% consistent right from the jump within that? No, he's a rookie. The thing is that you're getting so many good ups and bumps in that respect that the downs are really minimal. So, no, the consistency will come a little more with him. He'll eventually round out to being probably around a 300 hitter with 40, 45 home runs a year, somewhere in that mark. But he's going to take a couple years to get there. That's the benefit of having a guy that's this young, this good, this fast. Sam the Great says, hopefully that clipboard will make Gino a great game manager this season. One can only hope. One can only hope. Tommy says, what if Pete John do something bold like go with a new quarterback every 4 years? Trade them when they are up and coming for picks and reload. Pete would be retiring, but I'd love to see them as a team try it. I would too, Tommy. This is what I've been forecasting is there's a smart team out there that's going to take this approach eventually and go this way when it pushes too hard in the direction of the quarterback costs and the salary and giving up so many draft picks to get the ones that are decent. It's going to eventually reach the point where a team goes, instead of doing that, let's just let's make our run when we got a quarterback on the rookie deal, and then let's not get held over the barrel when he happens to be up for his next contract. Because if you have that guy, right, Tommy, and you do offload him, you're talking about then moving essentially a really good quarterback, maybe a Pro Bowl level quarterback, just heading into his prime. That's going to return you 2-3 first-round picks. That's a lot different than moving a Russell Wilson at 32 years of age. So I'm with the strategy, Tommy, and I think, again, it takes a forward-thinking team to enact this. But if it was the Seahawks looking at this would be a good approach for them. I'd be very much in favor of it. Sting Devil Rays, I think the sharing a stadium is the most annoying thing, too. Yeah, it's kind of stupid as well. I agree. 283, there should be a football league where each state has a team. Then they play in a tournament, but only players that were born in that state can play for the team. Which state wins? Probably Texas or California. Texas would be the first team that I would say on my list of that. Just too many people there you're pulling from. KK Sports, what do I think about the J-Rod extension? I like it. As soon as I end the stream, and we're going to probably wrap up here pretty soon, as soon as I end the stream tonight, I'm going to put a video together on the J-Rod extension. So I'll talk about it more in depth from what I'm going to give you here on my kind of initial thoughts. So be on the lookout for this video. But essentially it's a forward-thinking deal. It's a deal that's not caught up in the old machinations of how you construct a contract in baseball. The Mariners have essentially constructed a deal that lets both the player and the team win. The player wins in getting paid very prematurely. He's not held out for a couple of years through his cheap years of his early career. Instead, the team rewards him much faster than anybody else. But then the team makes up that money over the course of the deal by when you have Julio then playing at an MVP level, you're not necessarily paying MVP costs. Or if he's playing just below MVP level, you're not necessarily paying those kind of costs of what it would be for a contract. If you look at what this contract costs now versus if you had waited 3 years from when he would have to be paid at that point, it's going to be significantly higher at that time. And you can play that game of trying to do the cheap thing where you try to hold on to all those cheap club-controlled years on a young player who's a budding superstar and hope that right at the end of it you can then finally pay him and whatnot. But that's a sticky game to play. We see with Soto and the Nationals right there that can end up finding you in a position where now you're offloading a player who you don't necessarily want to offload, but because you can't come to the right situation and understanding on the contract, you feel forced to do so. So a great deal from that standpoint. We get a guy here for the next 10, maybe even longer years, maybe his whole career here. It's fantastic to see. I love the fact the Mariners did this. It's going to be a good deal for years to come, not just now in the interim, but for years to come. You're going to be able to construct a good payroll, and he's not going to be this guy eating up $50, $55, $60 million of it so substantially a margin that you can't sign other guys. So flexibility and all that's just fantastic. All we need is a Kirk Cousins play from Geno with defense and running game improvements and implement the Waldron offense. And, hey, if the Vikings can make it with Case Keenum, we can make it Geno Smith. 100% MSR Rook. 100%. Can Geno beat Case Keenum? You better believe he can. You better believe he can. It's a great point on your part. That's an apt comparison. KK Mariners go deep in the playoffs. Hard to say at this point, KK. They're a young team. They're a little inconsistent. It's the bats suddenly go cold in October. I think we can get through the wild card round when we get into playing division winners. Hard to say at that point. Up against the Astros right now, I don't have a lot of confidence. Up against the Yankees, I got a little bit of confidence. Up against the Guardians or the Twins, it's pretty even. 283-128, don't the Mariners get a comp pick if Julio wins Rookie of the Year? I don't know on that. That's the first I've heard of that. Megan says we have the between New South Wales and Queensland, and it's called State of Origin. 3 games of rugby league a year. That's kind of cool. It'd be great in theory to do that, but Texas and Florida and California would just dominate the whole thing. Tommy says, keep plugging away on the crow's nest. This channel is going to grow fast. Have a good night. Thank you, Tommy. We'll keep rolling on this, man. I love doing these different channels on this, so I'm having a good time. Why is no one talking about how Pete announced Geno starting? Pete is a super upbeat, optimistic guy, and he announced Geno was starting like he was telling us he had cancer or something. Well, I think from Pete's standpoint, I'm not going to try to read too far between the lines with Amir, but he was probably wishing that one of those guys had done a little bit more to take hold of the position. And with Geno, he's kind of having it more given to him than he is taking it. And I think from Carroll's standpoint, he looks back at the Russ situation and how he had really won that job over Flynn and Tavares, where he had really made it a matter of this isn't much of a decision for Carroll. This is the no-brainer choice. And from Carroll's standpoint, he's looking at it like this isn't much of a no-brainer. So I'm going to guess that's why he's a little bit down with it. Hopefully Pete can sell his philosophy on Geno and we can actually make the playoffs. The offense doesn't even look bad for us. I'm hoping so, man. If you can run the ball, play good defense, play great special teams, you limit then what you need from the quarterback position, and this team can have a chance to potentially get in the playoffs if they can work from that formula. Did I get what? Pete has cancer? I don't think so. Sam the Great, our defense looks questionable. A little bit so far, but again, we haven't seen, I think, the full meal deal of all of our guys out there. It's been a lot of backups. It's been a lot of third stringers. Been a lot of young guys out there. Let's see what happens off the first game with that. Especially because I think a key here, Sam, is that they have done none of the cover 2 shell stuff that they talked about implementing this whole offseason. It's all been vanilla, the defense throughout the preseason, which I do not expect it will come to the regular season. KK Sports, what's my Seahawks prediction? Well, I'm going to be doing KK on my channel, The Hawks Nest, tomorrow, a full, I think, prediction show for the season. But early on right now, my prediction is 7-10. 7-10 feels about right. Danny W., I wish we could get an update on Ken Walker next week, but knowing Pete, it'll be a game time decision all the way through. They tend to be conservative on their injury things, Daniel, so even if they say he should be back by week 1, probably count on it more he's back by week 2, especially with as well as Travis Homer and DJ Dallas are running the football. So you're probably have to wait another week on that from Kenneth Walker. 23, I bet $20 on the Mariners winning the World Series. If they do, I'll get $700. It's a good return, man. It's a good return. Boy, that'd be a nice cherry on the top to them winning, man, is that they win and you make some money on it. Look out. MSR Rook, I'm convinced we will look a lot better in the regular season. Can't take much from the preseason in the first game. Yeah, I think you definitely have to put everything into a perspective in preseason contests. And again, especially when you basically offense and defensively are running very vanilla things, you're not really trying to implement what you're going to roll come game time. I do think that it's going to be a different beast when you have Tyler Lockett and DK out there versus Derek Young and Bo Melton. I think it'll be a little different on the outside in that respect of things. So once we get in the regular season, a couple games in, we'll be able to make a better determination. We can get flashes here, a little bit of what this team will show us this year, but I don't think that we're going to get full-on views of they are what they are because of these 3 preseason games. Sam the Great says, good point. Perhaps Pete has had an ace in his sleeve. Maybe the preseason was a facade. It's possible, Sam. It is. I mean, I watched the defense very closely. They ran 4-man fronts all along. We were told this offseason we're going to more 3-4 looks, yet you were in 4-man fronts basically 98% of the time this preseason. So I'm thinking you're going to see some of the 3-4 more once we get in the regular season. We were told we're going to get blitz packages and pressure packages. We got none of that. So I'm expecting we're going to get more of that come the regular season as well. So yeah, I think I think there's a little bit to that. MSR, okay, Brandon, remember the game stream next Saturday, watching either Levis game or the Stroud game. I think I'm going to do the Levis game, Rook. Make sure that you're subscribed to me on Seahawks Scouting, because I'm going to go, I believe, live from the Seahawks Scouting game, doing live reaction to the Levis Miami of Ohio. So I'm going to tentatively commit to that unless something comes up for me. But meet me over there for that Saturday game. That's the one I think I'm going to try to watch live. D-Nugget, do you think Pete's going to call out for a headhunting on Russ? No. But he will throw the kitchen sink at him from complexity and everything that he can to confuse Russ, no doubt about it. He knows just the way to attack Russ, and that's the way you attack Russ, is you throw complexity at him. 283, O-line has really surprised me. They have been one of the few bright spots throughout the preseason. They've looked really good, man. Really good. Blythe, Lucas, Cross, all been very, very good. Curhan was good as well. Guards were all right. Very impressed by what I saw from the O-line. I think they will be. I think bright spot is the way they put it. They'll be, I think eventually this year will be a bright spot for this team when it's all said and done. Daniel W. When is the Levis game? It's going to be next Saturday. It should be on ESPN Plus, Daniel. Just happy the Seahawks had an amazing draft this year, says Sam. Me too, man. Hopefully they can keep building on it next year too. You got 4 more picks next year in the first 2 rounds. So let's see if we can do even more damage next year too. KK Sports, if you were Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, or Drew Lock, I got to go with Geno Smith. This was to me a competition, a quarterback battle, and Drew Lock didn't win it. Yeah, he had the COVID, and yeah, you can make excuses, but at the end of the day, it's a competition. Did you win it? Did you not? Nope, you didn't. Geno did. Didn't win it by a wide margin, but he did win it. It's not his fault, KK, when you look at it, too. It's not Geno's fault that he had, I think, 14 drop passes in 3 games this preseason from his receivers. It was ridiculous. Danny W., I wanted Kayvon Thibodeau or Derek Stingley, but man, am I happy we took Cross. We may have drafted the best right tackle and best left tackle in the draft. Crazy to think. Very crazy to think. And I'm very happy with that in retrospect too, Daniel. As I've said, as a building spot, a beginning point on building up a team going in the future, starting with your 2 tackles and making those a strength of the team, much less the rest of the offensive line, to me is a great place to begin. Especially if you look at it through the lens of trying to avoid having to fall into that quarterback trap of having a guy you're paying long term. If I've got a great offensive line in front of a young quarterback, I'm going to go a long way to helping him step forward. Do I predict more tight end improvement? We got a lot of football talk, you guys. I'm going to be going live tomorrow, so we can bounce on this football talk more tomorrow. Do I predict more tight end improvement? Yes, I would think. You're going to see them featured more than you ever have. You're going to see more 2 tight end sets from the Seahawks than you ever have in maybe their history this year. So within that, you're going to see more production from them as well. Locke sold himself out of the job, even though I wanted him behind the helm. I wanted him there too, man. He just didn't do it. 283 says 14 drops and about 20 penalties, laughing out loud. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is there for Geno. And I think a lot of people came in hating Geno and not wanting to see him get the job under any respect. I wasn't one of those people. I wanted the competition to win out, and it's not his fault those guys dropped those balls. And there were some bad drops in there. And if those guys don't drop those balls, Geno actually ends up lighting up this preseason. You take all those drops and you take about 90% of those away, and Geno puts up a couple touchdowns this preseason. Everybody's very comfortable with where Geno's at. But those drops have everybody going, is he going to be anything? Megan says, okay, gang, I'm heading out. Not sure I'll be on tomorrow as I need to pack as I head out to Sydney on Tuesday before flying out to LA on Wednesday. Well, have a good one, Megan, and you take care. I will be seeing you very soon. So if I don't see you tomorrow, we'll be definitely seeing you in other streams, but we're almost inside a month. My lady from Dan Ende. MSR Rook will do. Can't wait. Also, remember, we haven't shown anything, but neither has Denver, and Russ hasn't played 1 snap for them either, so their offense will also look very raw. It will, but Pete will know what to expect because he understands Denver's trying to acclimate to Russ, and he knows what Russ wants acclimated. So Pete should have a pretty good idea because Russell's been bitching in his ear about it for years about what he wants in there. I have a good idea that he'll be able to anticipate a little bit of that. Maybe I'm thinking a little too far ahead on it, but I don't know. I'm seeing it. Jan the Great, but I want to see if Geno learned from sitting behind Russ. We shall. I'll tell you, he does a lot of scrambles now that he didn't have in the younger part of his career that are straight out of Russell Wilson's book. He does the whole pirouette, turn, go backwards move that he's adopted. 283, Alton Robinson is probably making the team, though I have not heard on what's the update on his knee injury right now. He's got something going on with his knee that's a little dodgy. I think he hit the turf, so we've got to hear what's going to bear that out. KK Sports, do you think Seahawks should have drafted Malik Willis? No. I think KK Sports, the formula here is that you want to know the next quarterback that you bring onto the Seahawks. First and foremost, you want to have a good offensive line built up ahead of him. Then you want to bring on a guy who's pro-ready. Right now, we did not have the offensive line built up ahead of Malik Willis, number 1. Number 2, Malik Willis is not a guy that's pro-ready. He's not ready to start. Not this year and probably not next year. They'll probably try to start him by next year, but it'll be a little bit like this Trey Lance situation this year with the 49ers where it's probably being done a year prematurely. So, yeah, no, unfortunately not. Good morning, Brandon Schutz. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well as well. Do we need a Megan picture? D-Nugget, I've dropped a few balls too in my lifetime. Well, we all have, but we haven't all been paid to catch those balls. Daniel, do you think the team fakes injuries? For example, I don't think Phil Haynes was injured his first 2 years. I think the team IR'd him to keep him. I think the same is happening with Tyreek Smith. They don't have a spot for Tyreek right now, so they IR him to keep him. Yeah, I think teams do that, Daniel, 100%. Because if you put him on the practice squad, he can be plucked at any time. You IR him, he's still under your club control, and no one can take him. So it's absolutely teams do that. And I'm sure that we do it just as well. I'm sure all 32 NFL teams do that. I would bet. Well, we will be back on tomorrow on my football channel. We'll be talking about all of these topics and more concerning our Seahawks, including a bit of a prediction show on that side of things. Mariners could not get the win tonight. Story is you just couldn't get any hits. If you didn't hit 3 home runs, you would have been no hit tonight. So a Mariner lineup does continue at times to look very anemic, up and down, not able to get it consistently going. Man, Swag Haggerty can't come back fast enough, I'll tell you. But we'll see if they can come back tomorrow and turn this back on. I'm going to go over now and do a little video here on this Julio Rodriguez extension, so keep an eye out for that. Tomorrow we'll be on the Hawks Nest doing a live stream show there. Next Saturday we'll be doing on the Seahawks Scouting channel, and then back and forth we go over and over, round and round and round. So please do get subscribed. Please hit that like button to all of my channels. But please, beyond all that, never ever forget, go Mariners, and thank you guys for watching. All of you guys have a good night. Daniel, 283, Megan, KK Sports, D-Nugget, all of you guys have a good one. Appreciate you guys. See if our Mariners can get right tomorrow, get back up on top of this. Have a good one, folks. Again,